Are the mics working? Dude, oh my god, this is so botched.
Welcome back to the BotchPod, the worst podcast in the world. Today, go ahead, Dex. Go ahead. Today we have Chino. Welcome, brother.
What's up, y'all? Thank you for having me. I appreciate
Thanks for coming on, dude.
Thank you. It's about time.
So, for the people that don't know you, introduce yourself a little bit.
Yeah, so my name is Chino Berrios, Buffalo native. I'm a photographer, actually, and videographer. Local, I travel a lot as well. If you see the commercials, Hitting a Car, call William Matar. I work for that guy, and I do all his content. Yeah, man, I just had a son like 2 months ago, so super exciting, new dad.
Congrats.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
But other than that, man, just a normal dude, just living life and having fun and trying to make an impact out here.
So you do the TV commercials for William Matar?
Not yet, not the commercials.
Oh, okay.
But I shoot his social media content.
Social media stuff.
Yeah, so all his vertical content, stuff like that.
Okay.
I got pulled onto the team about 3 months ago, so it's still new. We just got back from a conference yesterday in Atlanta. It was like a huge CEO lawyer summit conference. It was super cool. Big demand for videographers, so anybody watching this who's a videographer in Atlanta, that's a place to be right now.
Atlanta?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was a lot of them out there, but they came from all different states, but every single one needed a videographer. And everybody who was like speaking, telling these lawyers that, they're like, minimum like $7K you should be paying your videographer. So it's like, it's cool because last couple of years, videographers, you don't really hit shit. You know what I mean? But now it's like, we're such in need right now. So I'm stuck in Buffalo, but anybody out there who's in any other state, reach out to your lawyers out there.
Make sure you clip that. Someone I know needs to see that.
Yeah. That's fucking wild. I've seen some of those William Matar videos before too. So do good stuff. That's crazy, dude.
Nah, he's crushing it for sure. Like, he's taking over radio, he's taking over commercials. We've all seen him our entire lives, and now he's just trying to dominate social media. So I got to give it to the guy because he's very eager and motivated. So I like working with people like.
Have you ever seen that lawyer on TikTok that does like he breaks down rap lyrics?
No,
Yeah.
I haven't. No, I haven't.
He explains it like it's like an Urban Dictionary type thing.
Literally Urban
It has to
Dictionary.
be funny though.
That shit's funny.
We want to do some funny content, but obviously when you're a lawyer and you have that sort of, title to carry around and you're somebody like him, like you have to be very careful.
I was going to
because-
say that. I feel like it's got to be like, it's not like it's like super strict. It is regimented, but like I don't want to say it the wrong way. But like I feel like you got to like really follow like a certain path and not say the wrong things and stuff like that.
Yeah, because he's known for what he's been known for. So it's like if he just comes into the game and just switches it up and just kind of be like, hey, here's my cars and houses. Yeah. They're gonna kind of look at him like, okay, I was hitting a car, I don't care. You know what I mean? Yeah. But we still do some pretty fun stuff with him that's just more personal, like his personal life. You know what I mean? So, but that's funny, man. Yeah, they were saying at the summit that there's a lot of people that are in law school right now that they're like so ahead of the curve with their career as a lawyer, soon to be a lawyer, because they're racking up like hundreds of thousands of followers while they're in law school, just teaching them the stuff that they're learning so that when they're ready to actually graduate, they're probably going to have like a shit ton of cases and just starting. You know what I mean? So it was pretty cool though, man. And yeah, William Matar, he's actually pretty cool guy.
Is he? He seems
very
it,
genuine, very like pays attention. He has a lot of people who come up to him. He's actually like a Buffalo legend. Yeah. So when we went out in public, you'd be surprised how many people are coming up to him.
Right.
But he gives everybody their time. He doesn't, try to shove you off to the side. Okay. And yeah, it's a good dude.
Like that one commercial he has, I don't know what it is right now, but like his mom's in it and like it's just like kind of funny. He started to take like I feel like when I was growing up, it was more serious, like hurting a car, called William Matar, and everyone knows that. Yeah. Like that saying, you know that. Yeah. What's the number? Is it
444?
Is it the 444? Okay, it's a 4-1? Okay.
Shameless plug.
But he's just like, like I feel like he's out branching now that, like you mentioned, like with the social media, you don't really even think like a lawyer would need something like that. Like it just like usually it used to be just like content creators, and now we were having a discussion today. I was having with somebody about how important the internet is, even for lawyers, like advertising.
Everybody,
it really is crazy,
man. So talking about that leads me to ask you guys a question. Like, I've been following you guys for some time, and I just met you guys in person. Pretty cool guys, I'd have to say. I'll get a beer with y'all. What was the mindset, the why of starting this podcast? And
well, I've always wanted to have a podcast. I always wanted to have like a sit down thing with just like maybe a few people, but like I don't know. Like I think like the whole with like guests and everything. I think that's just a good idea. First of all, like he always says to meet people,
right,
and just like have like not in like we're doing it for a greedy way, but just like shit connections and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Like we've met some cool people. Had some cool experiences just doing the podcast,
right,
and that have stemmed from the podcast. But the reason to do it, I always wanted to do it. I feel like everybody wants to though. But
when did we like actually decide to do it?
I feel like over a year ago now, because you and I were on the phone. I distinctly remember where I was driving. I was driving on Amherst, and you're like, you wanted to start a podcast with me? I'm like, fuck yeah! I'm like, fuck yeah! I want to start a podcast. Yes,
you read my mind.
Yes, I'm like, yes, I want to so bad. I'm like, you have no idea how happy that just made me.
It's like Step Brothers when they first figure out when they're like friends and
that's
shit.
What it was like. That's what it was like, and I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm in. But like that was over a year ago. You asked me,
yeah.
And then we sat on it for like 2 months, didn't do anything.
Yeah,
trying to think of a name, and then our first podcast that we attempted doing was in my girlfriend's apartment complex's basement.
I remember that. Yeah.
It was the shystiest background. There was like water heaters like in the background. We sat right next to the drain line, so if somebody flushed the toilet or took a shower, all you're hearing is running water.
Commercial breaks.
It was so funny. We had one camera, a plastic table sitting right in front of us. What were we gonna name it? What was it called? It was going to be the Plastic Table Podcast.
Plastic Table Podcast. We almost named it.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I hated that.
And for you?
Yeah, that was same kind of thing. I don't know. I mean, it was... I don't even know. I don't remember. It was so long ago. I don't even remember. It was partially networking, like if we wanted to have guests on and stuff, but... It was not like, I don't know. I never thought we'd be in here fucking doing a podcast. We originally started traveling to guests. Like we were always going to the guests. Like it was
first. So y'all were taking all y'all equipment.
We would have a fucking car full of equipment. Wow. We'd have a
10
car
episodes.
Full of guys.
First 10.
I'd say even over that.
15 20 episodes. Yeah.
Wherever you were,
we had lights. We had 2 cameras.
Yeah.
The cameras were not the greatest.
The cameras were not the greatest.
Mics were not the greatest. We went down to Florida. We went to Dion Dawkins' house and like did an episode with him. The cameras were garbage.
Terrible.
Yeah.
How'd that feel? You're probably like, did we just fuck up? But you guys made it there, but like...
Yeah, it was...
He didn't care. He didn't even watch it.
No, he probably didn't watch it. No, he doesn't give a shit. No, it was... But like... Yeah, I feel like it's like an easy way. Not that any of this is easy.
Yeah,
which it isn't at all.
It's way harder than people think it is.
Oh, it's so much harder. I thought it was going to be like that.
Goes into it. Yeah. I thought it was just going to be sit down and talk. Which, honestly, shout out to Legacy House. They've made it a lot easier
shout out to
for
Legacy
us.
House.
The boys, yeah.
This is amazing. This spot is crazy.
Yeah.
I remember before they even built this, and Adam was like, yeah, we're going to do a podcast studio over here. And I believed in him, right? But then just seeing it now is just like, you would never think. You never think it's here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a few episodes at 816. I don't know if you ever went there.
816?
On Elmwood.
It was their old studio.
Their old studio.
Oh, no,
It was literally a garage. Like, just a garage.
I've seen a lot of content of that actual space, but I never was there because I just moved back to town a little while ago. So
yeah, so we did a few episodes there, and it was pretty cool, but this is way
not
nicer.
that it's easy, but like it's just another way to get your brand across in like a different avenue, like having something to do with your main account still, but having nothing to do with it at the same time, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like if we bring viewers over from Buffalo AF, they already know who we are.
Right.
And like they'll pick up on certain things that we talk about sometimes, but we'll also expand and get like any guest can pull their viewers and stuff like that. So it's also a way to connect the brands together a little bit.
Cross marketing through each other, yeah.
And it's not that it's easy, but like it's a lot easier than waiting for a tailgate to film a video or shotgunning 20 beers in an hour.
Yeah. I feel it's a creative process at the end of the day. Like everything that is being recorded right now, you got to go back, chop it up, make sure you put the right stuff, make it entertaining at the same time, get in the best portions of the video. I'm a videographer, so I could only imagine just scrubbing through about like 30 minutes to 45 minutes of footage and being like, great.
Yeah.
But you guys took action and you guys are here, and I respect you guys for that, because podcasts are not easy. Actually, the conference that I was just at, they brought on a very popular, he's like in a 1% or even higher than that in podcasts. Like he's rated like very high.
Okay.
And the dude was like, I don't know shit. Like me and my buddy, we just literally just talked about our business. Like if we had something during that week in our business go wrong, we would just like talk about it over the camera, no script at all. He's like, I hate scripting because it's fake. You know, he's like, just be your genuine self. And they just consistently just started to build it. And, you know, they were in the finance side. But now he's like, has millions of viewership like a month. And he started like 3 years ago.
Yeah, and you never know how it could pop either.
Right.
Like with TikTok and everything, Instagram, YouTube now, like the shorts and stuff.
Yeah. Nah,
you just never know how something could pop, and I'll give it to this man. He's really good at keeping up on that. Like, I do like the editing and like technical stuff. Like I'll set up audio if I'm here on time.
Not today.
But like he's really good at that shit. Like I don't know how
like the
that
social
makes
media
my
portion
head
of it?
spin.
Yeah, I'm more on the social media side of things. He's more on the back end type of shit.
All the
Too much
technical
technical
stuff
shit.
of
Like
this stuff.
There's
Yeah.
like the passwords and shit just fucking makes my head spin.
I got to make a new
million different
password every time I try to.
There's a
log in.
million different account names. I have to go to this platform, this platform, this platform. I don't know how you do that shit. That just makes my head
It's a
spin
talent.
thinking about it.
It's a seasoned talent.
That
You
shit is
definitely have to do it. But now you guys are crushing it, man, on all your platforms. Buffalo AF, BotchPod. I've been checking it out, always viewing.
Appreciate
and
it.
so definitely cool to be here. And I feel like, I don't know why I'm interviewing you guys, if that's okay. right. It's like, but it's just, my mind is just flowing right now.
No,
So
yeah,
I
you're
just
good.
want to ask, so obviously, like I said earlier on, like we've never met before outside of this. So like the connection came through social media, but like what was, like, I don't know, a reason why you guys wanted to be like, okay, we can have this dude on. Fuck it, like why?
Yeah.
You know?
Honestly, you followed BotchPod and Buffalo AF, and like I run all the social media stuff, so I saw it, and I saw some of your videos, and I was like, oh, this guy makes like a different type of content. You make like a lot of like relationship type of style content. And I was like, this would be cool to get him on.
Yeah.
So that was the main reason I wanted to get you on, was to like get into that stuff.
Because it was crazy, because when I was looking at the stuff that you guys normally have on your podcast, I'm like, y'all sure y'all want me on there? It's gonna be about something totally
we like to
different.
mix it up, bro. We like to mix it up. Like we have NFL players, we have BSF artists, we have females, we have
Right.
drunks, we have like we like to do a little. Well, that's us, but we like to do a little bit of everything. We like to mix it up. We haven't found a niche yet. I don't know.
Which is fine though, because I feel like sometimes when you, like in my specific content, I found a niche. And the benefits of it is like when I want to start strategizing what I want to talk about or post, it is easier for me to go and put that down on paper, shoot it, whatever. Some of them are freestyle. But when you're not in a niche, and the way that you guys are doing this, when you're having multiple people on, it's like, it's cool. Like you guys are broad, you know what I mean? But as long as you make that statement in the beginning of your podcast, then that's just how the algorithm should post it. So if it's a conversation about relationships, it'll pop up this podcast. They talked about relationships here. They talked about sports here, you know.
Yeah.
But it is tough being a one-man band and doing all that content because I get so like creator's block, you know, and then with time, with work, and then having the son, I'm just like shooting these videos in my car now with my phone, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it's like I'm doing it, but I want it to be in a better setting, and then trying to find ideas could be hard, believe it or not, even though I have a niche, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you just want to make sure that the content that you're outputting is relevant to everything that's being talked about in your specific niche. So if it's like heartbreaks, boom, okay, now I know what to kind of dive into to look at to get some ideas from, and then repurpose the content or make it in my way, you know? But yeah, so I talk about relationships, relatable content. If you first come across my page, you'll probably be like, damn, this dude's a pussy. And you know what? Like literally people are probably like, what the heck is this guy talking about? What is he doing? So I made this one video where this one I did script out, but I didn't say it the same exact way as I wrote it. And I just was just like, let me get into a mindset, an emotional mindset that I just got my heart broke. Like, I guarantee everybody who watches this, everybody in the world has been through a heartbreak at some point in their life multiple times. So it's like a very relatable feeling, no matter if I'm a dude saying it and a dude watching it and being like, yo, same here, bro. Like, you know what I mean? So I didn't know during that time that was going to be the thing, but it took me forever to post that video. Like, I had one queued up like 5-6 months prior. Because prior I was like this traveling photographer. I was working with celebrities and I was in Miami every other weekend. But I was like, this is not me. Like, I can do this. I'm blessed that I could take a camera, make something look cool, network. That was like the main thing. But I was like, if I want to be an influencer, I want to actually influence. I don't want to be another dude who's like a photographer, another dude who's like a model, or another dude who's living a vida loca, you know what I mean? Like, I want people to come across my page and take some sort of value from me so that, you know, if they're going to be wasting their time scrolling through my page, at least they're getting some sort of content that's fulfilling and not just the basic average thing that they may probably come across. And then I remember this one month, I just finally posted my first video, and then every single day I would like script out 5 videos. I'll record them all in one night, edit them throughout the week. So I had 1 video per day. I did that for like 2 weeks, and then they were getting decent amount of views. And then I kid you not, like 2.5 months, a video that I posted 2.5 months prior just like hit over like almost 3 million views, and that was the one that kind of like gave me the niche.
Was that on TikTok or Reels?
It was actually on Instagram. So when Instagram Reels was getting like, you know, they relatively just started, but, you know, I kind of seen the power in them. I remember I had posted a video talking about more of like motivational and stuff like that, because my background is motivation, God, relationships, things of that nature that I always want to talk about. So one had got like 18,000 views, and I was like, oh shit, like, you know, I'm a social media guy as well, so I'm an analytical guy. I like reading these stuff, testing different things. And I'm like, this might be where it's at. And I got some good feedback on that, and then that's where I kind of came into that mindset where it's like, I think it's time for me to just do what I'm passionate about. Like, fuck about what anybody else says, you know what I mean? Because I think all of us on social media, it's normal to think that way, like, do I want to be this? Do I want to do that? So me coming from the background I was coming from, I was like, if this is going to be it, then this is going to be it. At least it's going to be something cool. And then from there, I had a TikTok. I have a TikTok and have like 30K followers on there, but that was like from a dance my dad and I did. It was like a very controversial video without us even knowing. I was dressed in all red. He was dressed in all blue. This is when I was living with him a couple years ago. I just moved back from California. I was like 24 years old, 25 years old. TikTok had just came up, and I was like, my dad used to be a break dancer back in the day. So we're just chilling there watching TV. We smoked some weed, so we were high as shit. And I'm like, yo, Pops, let's make a TikTok. He's like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, this, you know. So we did a dance, and everybody was like, yo, you're wearing all red. Your dad is wearing all blue. And you guys are dancing to like a Crip song. Had no idea. We were not thinking. I was just like, this is a cool dance move that we can replicate. And so we did it bro, like the third day that night, that's viral. But then I was like, I don't want to be known for doing that. I go to LA sometimes. I'm like, I'm gonna end up in LA and I'm gonna get shot, killed, something. Right? But no, man, social media is a cool tool, a cool driving force. And as long as you stay consistent in whatever it is that you do, and do what you're passionate about, because if you don't, then you're gonna fail. Yeah. I don't care, no matter how many followers, you're gonna fail because it's not gonna be you. It's not gonna be what you want. So I think it's cool. We all kind of found where we want to be at, you know.
Yeah, it's dope.
That's cool.
What song was it?
Oh fuck.
It's a Blueface song.
Nah, you know what? Like, if I could just pull this out real quick, it should take 2 seconds. Fuck it up. West Side.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Oh shit.
I got you.
Yeah, that song.
That was a trend for a while too.
Yeah.
Right, and I got.
He's in all. He's all
Yo,
red.
I'm telling you, look at this shit. Hey, it was low key fire though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had no idea that was gonna happen, but it was cool. Then my dad, he's not a social media guy. He's very private, so he was like, I was like, yo, pops, we could really blow this TikTok up to like father son, you know? He's like, nah, I got people still after me. I'm like, all right, old timer. Yeah, man,
That's funny.
So
with the relationship stuff, like my main thing was like, this guy fucking get his heart broken in the past, or like what? Because you got a girl now, you got a kid, and like, you know,
there was a lot of confusion with that, and I didn't think about that prior to posting any of, like, well, obviously later on, but in the beginning I wasn't thinking of it like that. In my head, again, I was just thinking about relatable content, because I had seen some other accounts that were doing that, but in a different way, whether if it was motivation, you know, some people talking about heartbreaks and relationships. So I already kind of knew where I was going with it, but I did have to, because my girl and I, as it is, we're like private, you know what I'm saying? I'm a firm believer in, you know, if you want your relationship nowadays to last and be something like special, like do your best to keep it off social media, unless both of your guys' goals is to be on social media together and building something, you know what I mean? Or whatever. She's not a big social media person. So I had posts of her on there, but people couldn't really see it because it got pushed down inside of the feed. Mm-hmm. But it'll be funny because people be like, yo, like, don't you have a girlfriend? Or people were like obviously hitting on me and stuff, trying to get at me. I'm like, I always have to remind people every so often, like, hey guys, you know, here's my girl, here's my son, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that definitely was, I had one of my best friends had reached out to me, and she was like, hey, Chino, like, I know what you're doing, but just make sure that, like, you kind of announce every so often, because if I was somebody random, I would think that, like, you definitely did just break up with her, or you're not thinking about your girl when you're talking, you know what I mean? So, but thankfully, my girl's so cool. She respects what I'm doing. She understands what I'm doing, and she supports it. So, like, I did it at that point as a dude. Once you get that kind of green light, because, you know, if you fuck around with like a crazy chick, then it's a wrap. You're not gonna be able to do stuff like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. But the best thing is finding yourself like a woman who's grounded, who's secure in her femininity and her relationship. And, you know, from there, once I got that green light, I was like, okay, bet, like, I'm comfortable doing this, because, you know, I've always loved being the friend in the group to either motivate or give some wisdom to, or, you know, my father was a very, like, wisdomatic dude, like, growing up. Like, he was always like, if I did something wrong, he wouldn't hit me. My dad never hit me, but he'd be like, yo, listen, you did this wrong because so-and-so. So, and then my mom's a big motivator as well. And I had homegirls that were best friends that I seen them get their heart broken tons of times. So a lot of people don't understand, like, also deeper than why I just posted content is because I've been around it a lot. Like, as a dude, I was fortunate enough to be around a lot of women to see the shit that they actually deal with on the opposite side. So I seen the dude side, because I was the dude breaking hearts. And then I've been on the other side seeing people that I actually love and care about get their heart broken. And being a dude, obviously I know the game, you know? So that's why I was like, you know, I speak about like men's mental health and vulnerability on my page when I do. But also, like, I'm always like, I get why women may feel this way, because as a dude, I know that's kind of how we move, you know? We don't see a lot of things for what it is, because a lot of us are kind of raised to be like so machismo and have to be so tough, and that pride is just so much, like that wall is so high. It's like we don't want to understand anybody else. If it's a woman trying to tell us something, we don't want to understand it. We don't want to, because this is just what it is. So I kind of always been the dude who would always see both spectrums and be able to be that the friend to come to whenever it came to like, I need you to hear me out and give me the best. Instead of being a dude and being like, yeah, nah, you're wrong as shit. Like, go cook and clean and do all this shit for your man. And,
That's dope, though.
Yeah,
At least
yeah.
you can acknowledge that, like,
Yeah,
it's okay to be that person, too. Because, like, I feel like a lot of guys, like, feel like that, like, or, like, don't feel like it's okay to be that person, but they want to be. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I'll tell you what, bro. Like, at the end of the day, I have talked to a lot of guys on all calibers of whatever status, right? From the nerdy kid to the dude who makes hundreds of millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. It's the same. Like, we all have an inner child, you know what I mean? So pretty much when I say that, you could be as manly as you want to be, but you still got a deep emotional side to you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of people throughout life, they get hurt so damn much that, you know what I mean, they don't want to show it. And then most of the time, they'll probably show it to their girl if they trust them, love them, whatever the case. But, I don't know about y'all, but if I'm going through something, yeah, sure, I don't necessarily want to go out to my girl and, like, spill my emotions in front of her because I don't want to look weak. I can go to my brother or one of my guy best friends because he can relate to the type of pain that I feel. Mm-hmm. And I just hate this stigma that it's like if you show that vulnerability, then you're a weak dude. No, you're not weak. You're just becoming more intelligent about your emotions. And once you're a man who's intelligent about his emotions, then you just become the guy in the scene, because women want emotional stability. They want a dude to be able to kind of understand her so that he can make the decisions off her. They want to be protected and taking care of some of that shit. So it's like, I don't know. I just hate when guys are so shallow about it. And I hate to say it, but being dudes, like, and I understand that, but like, especially nowadays, we're in a world where like you can't be as aggressive because you're gonna get called out. You're gonna, this and that. You know what I mean? But I think it is about. I am traditional when it comes to a lot of roles that I've seen growing up. The wife, cook, clean, whatever the case. But I'm in a position right now in my life where, my girl's a physical therapist, but she's not practicing right now because she just had a baby a couple months ago. I'm working, I'm providing, I'm doing everything, and I don't get mad at it because you know what? Like, I feel like that is my role. That is my duty to make sure I protect them, watch them, and I come home, the place is clean, but if I'm there, and let's say, for example, I do got time to just like chill and hang out, like if she cooked dinner or some shit, I go wash dishes, or I'll go clean up, you know what I mean? Because when you're in a relationship, you have to, it's never going to be 50-50, right? But you got to do your best as a man to acknowledge the fact that, yes, you may be out working, busting your ass 9 to 5 or whatever the case. But when your girl's at home, especially when you got a kid, she's working from 6 in the morning to 10 o'clock at night, and she got to cook, clean in between and do all this stuff. And at a certain point, that's where women step into masculinity, because they're like, yeah, I don't give a shit if you're making all the money and paying all the bills. I'm taking care of everything else. Yeah. So it's about balance and understanding that even though we're going out and hustling, bringing in the money, paying for everything, whatever the case is, that we have to acknowledge the fact that she is still doing things alone. And, these are just things conversations that I'll have with my friends, my homegirls, just to give them a perspective. Because at the end of the day, it's not about us, right? As dude, we could be selfish up until the point that we're not. Then we become the most selfless, like my girl, my kid. I'm not living for myself anymore. I'm living for y'all, to take care of y'all, to provide for y'all. And yes, as a man, that's just within our nature and blood that we feel. Nobody even has to tell us that. I'm going to go out and get it because that's just what I know how to do. Yeah. And I just feel like there's some dudes out there who, I guess in the latest generation, they just don't get that. Everybody is in such a selfish mindset, only care about themselves. They only care about receiving and not giving. And this whole dating scene and everything nowadays is just not what it was years ago. And it's cool. I just educate yourself on like all the aspects of what it is to be in like a healthy, happy relationship. And most of the time it starts with the guy because we are the leader in the household. Yeah. And if you're not, you'll know when you're not the leader in your household because your girl will straight up show you the signs that you're not, you know? So, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but I hope I spilled some gems to people watching.
That was great. That was great.
Well, no, you just proved that everything that you do on a social media basis isn't just fucking scripted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You just proved that, I feel.
I
appreciate that.
I 100% agree with like 99% of what you said. No. The one thing that you said like girls at home cooking, cleaning, doing dishes, whatever, guys out earning the money. The girl's doing all the work at home. What does she really need you for? Like, she doesn't need you for the money, like whatever. You kick her out on the street, I mean, what's she gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, she kind of does need you for the money.
Yeah, and I think that's situational, right? It depends on the situation. My girl at the moment chooses not to work, and I give her the option to not work because I want her to be there with my son to take care of him. So that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make in the money I'm making, so to make sure that he's getting the proper, you know, training, having her watch her because I don't really trust daycares, even though my mom owned one for like 20 years. But that's a choice. And as a man, you have to make sure that before you get into bed with a girl and end up having a kid with her, you have to acknowledge and have that discernment within your mind and heart to know what type of woman you're getting in bed with. Because if you lay up with a lazy, don't want to lift a finger type of chick, you just set yourself up for a lifetime of misery, right? So I think the dating culture nowadays, and has been for kind of a while, was like you want to hook up the first time, then fall in love, and then you guys are just on this like entire wave of like magical like relationship stuff, but you don't know the person, and then you end up falling into a relationship that you never signed up with. So it was just like, as you get older especially, you have to have this mindset where, and we're dudes, right? So everything to us is like a return on investment. If I'm going to invest my time into you, I have to make sure that before I do invest time, because that's the most valuable asset that we can have, that I'm making the right decision. Because I'll be damned if I let this talk and then I get into a relationship that I'm going to be miserable in the rest of my life. So it's situational, but I mean, for most, I don't want to say most, excuse me, for some girls, because I have met many girls who are very in this culture of, I don't want to work, take care of me, you got to make this much money in order to date me. Yeah. That's just, you're going to have those girls. And unfortunately, that's social media. That's everything that's getting pushed on social media. But there are some really good women out there who are still have these basic core values to want to please their man, allow their man to lead, and make sure that she's providing everything that he needs in order to lead properly. But again, it's who you date. Those girls. It's who. Shout out to those girls for sure. Those girls, Hey man, I got lucky with my girl. She's a woman of God. She, you know, is not in this quick, fast dating culture. She's not out here shaking her ass on social media, and she could be right because, again, at the end of the day, if I met her that way, I have to accept her that way. Mm. But as a dude, making sure that before I approach a woman, you know, social media obviously is the easiest tool to kind of check somebody out and see what their life is about.
Yeah, that's facts.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you see a girl half naked and shaking her ass, like, you hit her up, you know what you want. Yeah. You don't want a relationship.
100%.
No. Yeah. You know what I mean? You know which way you're going to go in that conversation. Yeah. But, yeah. Guys, just get smarter at the woman that you date. Like, just be patient. The entire relationship will come. The sex will come, all that shit. Just make sure that when you're moving forward that you got to ask yourself, am I ready to commit? Because even if you find a decent girl, but in your heart you're not ready to commit. Like, this happened to me before. I was in California dating this one girl, and I thought this was going to be the love of my life. I was still young in love. I didn't have crazy amount of dating experience. And I had to ask myself, in the beginning of that relationship, Chino, are you ready to commit? Are you ready to, you know, delete all the numbers, put push aside that lifestyle that you could live selflessly, sleep with whomever you want, talk to whomever you want. Like, are you really ready to commit? You're 22 years old. Like, are you sure? Once I made that commitment, I was good. I like all the distractions, all the temptations went away. But I'll tell you this, there's been relationships where, because I was young and immature in love and relationships, that I never made that commitment. And that's when I ended up doing things that were not rightful in a relationship, right? And I'm a big advocate for any dude or girl who's ever cheated on their dude when they were like, I would say 23 and under, around 25 and under. Like, I don't want to put too much blame on you, because depending on that person's relationship, like how long they've been in relationships, the situations they've been in, they might be super immature. So they don't know how to properly love. They don't know how to properly commit. That's when they end up making mistakes. You know what I mean? So I feel like once you're that 25 and over, you should know which way to go, how to go about it, and, find yourself somebody that is going to make sense to your entire life.
Right. That's something that, like, not many I never even thought about that. Like, that's something that, like, I know, like, the generation below us right now, I think they're doomed. But, like, this is something that, like, they don't think about, I feel. Like, I don't know. The whole, like, as good as the internet is, the whole, like, persona that it's giving people and, like, trends and just how big it's getting, and everyone's got access and you're growing up with it more now. Like, the toxicity involved is absolutely insane. And it's one thing to be like that online, I guess. Like, it's still fucked up, but, like, you're starting to see, like, a shift into, like, the real world now. Like, go to, like, a middle school and just sit in a lunchroom and just watch how terrible it is.
It's crazy, bro.
I feel like it's all driven
kids
from
trying
the
to be
internet.
adults. Yeah. And think about it. When we were young and we thought that we were mature and thought we had everything figured out, but we
flip out a razor and you're like,
right.
You think you own a business?
I'm the man. Hey, I'm buying everybody snacks today at lunch. What's good? But you just, and I will say this, because I always seen myself as a very mature kid when I was younger. But the one thing that took away value from that was the fact that I lacked an experience. So I could talk the talk as much as I can, but during that time, had I not been through it, I could only talk on what my intuition is telling me. I never been through it, because there's been times I jump into a relationship and I get into a crazy situation. I don't know how to deal with it, because it's my first time ever dealing with it. But the dating culture nowadays, it's sad, man. You see these little ass girls, 12, 13 years old, makeup, nails done, wigs. It's just like, what?
Yeah.
Hell, absolutely not. But this is what America's feeding the young minds, and I guess that's why when I decided to go down the path that I'm getting into, I wanted to make sure, like, I have a lot of siblings. I had 13 other siblings. I'm the third oldest, 9 sisters, 4 brothers.
Damn. Okay.
And, since a young age, they've always, looked up to me, because I was always doing something cool or fun during the time, I used to sing, so I used to perform. I played football. They would come to my games. And they would always have, like, this star in their eyes, like, we love you, we love what you do. I'm meeting their famous, like, celebrities. I met Charlie D'Amelio, Noah Beck, all these people. I'm showing my little sisters, they're going wild. Mm-hmm. So what does that tell me? They're watching. They are watching. So if I wanted to go on my page, smoke weed, drink, take videos of me at a strip club, whatever the case may be, what am I showing them? That's okay. Mm-hmm. It's not. But one thing that they will get when they come through my page is value. One of my siblings, they broke up with somebody a while ago, and they were just like, I listened to one of your videos, and I finally grew the courage to actually break up with this person. You never talked to me about it because he was a little bit more closed off. He's younger. But you know how much that meant to me? That was like, okay, like, I'm doing something positive here. And, your digital footprint is going to be there forever. So, I don't necessarily care about the fame, the fortune, but it's about, like, how many people I can reach and provide value, plant a seed, wisdom of God, because I am a firm believer in God and everything that we do. Because nowadays these kids are growing up with zero values, and they're willing to do everything and anything in order to kind of go viral, get famous, and
Money,
I
fame,
think I missed that threshold. I'm in the older. I'll be 29 this upcoming year, so I don't really care about that. It's just more about providing value and making sure that I'm doing what I'm passionate about. And when I go one day, just knowing that I left behind something positive, right? I don't know what it's going to be at that point, but it's just crazy, bro. We gotta. So I challenge y'all. Whenever y'all see somebody who's younger sibling, friend, whatever the case, like, you give them the game. As little kids, they come up to me. I don't talk that talk with them. Like, yeah, man, this girl got a fat ass. You better. Nah, I educate them as a man to little boy. You'll be a man one day. Even to the younger females, because it's so important that anybody's life, the trajectory of it could change so much by getting into one bad relationship. How many people are committing suicides because of relationship? Mainly dudes, right? Because, I've been dating this girl since I was 15 years old in high school. She was my high school sweetheart. And now that we're like 4 years into college, she wants to break up with me and explore the world. Done. Because your psychological is not built yet at that time when you first started dating to withstand emotions. You're not supposed to be dating during that time. I didn't have my first girlfriend until I was like almost 20 years old because I didn't believe in that shit. I was a sports player. I was like, this comes first. The relationships could come after. My dad always told me girls will ruin your life. He wasn't wrong. He was not wrong at all. But it's different, man. So I just hope to continue to learn more about what I'm talking about, niche down more, have some segments where I'm talking to kids, bringing value to them and adults, because I get hit up a lot. People's stories, like, I'm talking about paragraphs and paragraphs about some deep shit, and I'm not a therapist by any means. I kind of just word it as, I'm just a dude, come talk to me. If you need to get something off your chest, come talk.
Right. That was going to be kind of one of my questions, was like all your videos on Instagram, like, do you get hit up a lot by like kids and like people going through breakups and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I get hit up at least now, since I've been light on social media and I haven't been as active, not as much, but I still have some videos currently going viral. But in the beginning, up until like 2 months ago maybe, when I got more busy and I couldn't be as active, I would get up every day. I'm talking about message requests, 50 requests, 100 requests, and it'll just be like, hey, listen, my wife cheated on me with my best friend. Here's her page. Check her out. I got hit up the other day by a kid who's in an entirely different country. Yo, here's all the screenshots. Do you think there's a chance that this can be fixed? This relationship could be fixed based off of what you've seen? Absolutely not. Keep it moving. But like, and he's like, the message that was sent back to me towards the end was like, I love you, bro. Thank you so much for being real with me. That's why I came to you, because I know you're going to tell me how it is, because I don't want to sugarcoat shit. You know what I mean? Last thing I need is my advice being pushed down to somebody to try to fight to get back into a relationship that they have no business being in, and then they do something stupid, and then you know what I mean? So I do my best to get back to everybody, but it is hard. Like in the beginning, it was like fun, right? You get your shit going viral, and you're like, oh shit, that's cool. I feel like it's meaningful. But just like everything in life, you find that you don't have enough time to reply to everybody's story. So what I'm hoping to do is do some sort of like one-on-one Zoom calls with people eventually. I think that'll be really cool. People that are really serious about it. Like 30 minutes, 45-minute sessions. Just, again, I'm not a therapist or anything like that, and I don't want to be that dude who's trying to nickel and dime people, but, I think just from the business side of things, I think my goal always on social media was to bring value and make sure that I monetize whatever it is I'm doing, because I'm a firm believer anything that you're putting your time into, you should be getting some sort of, results other than just like followers and likes. Yeah. So hopefully pretty soon I could open that up.
Cool. I think personally, just from hearing you talk and seeing all your videos, you could probably help a lot of people one-on-one.
Yeah.
Like you definitely could.
That's the goal, man.
But I want to change topics. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, real quick. Sure, let's do it.
So you just said, like, you were talking about suicide and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the suicide rate right now in men is crazy. It's like one every, I don't even know what it is, like
12 dudes or something. I think I seen the video today. It was something like that.
It's like one every 6 minutes or something like that. Something crazy. guy commits suicide. And the proportion from men to women committing suicide is crazy. Like, it leans way heavy men
Absolutely.
committing suicide. But it's gone up a lot also. Like, it's gone way up compared to, I don't know, 90s, 80s, 60s,
Right, yeah, for
whatever,
sure.
back in the day. And I feel like the men back in the day even had it harder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
Do you think we're kind of, I hate to say it this way, but do you think we're kind of pussifying like men with social media and like, I don't know, feminine ways and like shit like that? Do you think we're kind of pussifying men nowadays and it makes them weaker?
I think the one thing about social media when it comes to certain men, right? Because not everybody's a good person, unfortunately, right? There's some really shitty people out there, evil people, whatever. But I think what social media does is exposes certain things about certain people. Like, you know what I mean? So I feel like that could definitely weigh in a big way when it comes to suicide, because there's just a lot more digital.
Can't get away with as much.
Yeah, you can't get away with as much, or, you know, obviously this one goes with men and women, where it's like social media, it's like now, depending on what sort of alley you want to go into, if you don't have this as a man, you're not shit. Like, you know what I mean? And I mean, I see content and I'm like, fuck, like, why don't I have a Lamborghini yet? Why don't I have a mansion yet? Why can't I get crypto billionaire yet? You know what I mean? Like, and there's just a rush in today's society that us as men, we want nothing more than to be successful and whatever that defines. And then when you see it not happening for yourself, you know, we gotta also understand that, like, the rate is just up naturally on depression because of social media, and that is hard to control. It'll probably just continue to go up, because think about it. There's girls who are going to plastic surgeons and showing them filters from Snapchat and being like, hey, can you make me look like this? Like, literally, like, there was like a whole article on that. And it's like, why are we turning into this way?
Yeah.
And men, we definitely have a very large, you know, shoes to fill in this world, especially now with all the, you know, you have to be able to do this, or 9 times out of 10, I'm sorry, but like, if you're not providing, you're doing something that your woman doesn't want, she's already texting 3, 4, 5 other guys, right? I told my girl this, I'm a big supporter when it comes to social media, and I always tell her, do whatever she wants to do. But I was like, baby, I'm not competing with 100 guys in your DM. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got together, you know what's up with me, you know where I'm at, where I'm going. But I'm not going to compete with like 10 dudes from Miami who are like, yo, babe, I'll fly you down in a private jet, put you in a Lamborghini in the highest hotel. I'm not competing with that. But that's the culture nowadays. In these relationships, if they are not happy for whatever reason or for a second, and, you know, they're that type of girl who's really pushing themselves on social media, like, you already know there's competition. And that alone just breeds depression from a guy. Like, it's like, how do I compete? You know what I'm saying? You gotta date down. And then us men, what we're so good at, unfortunately, is like settling for the girl that we really don't want. But okay, she loves me and it's cool and everything like that. But we settle because like we feel like we're not getting ahead. There's too much competition. What's the one guy? Twitch Boss or something like that.
Yeah,
he just committed suicide.
DJ for
DJ
for Ellen. Sure.
Ellen. Like, that just goes to show you that no matter how famous you are, and I think they became big through social media. They started dancing as a family and stuff like that. Beautiful couple. It goes to show you that, like, you can achieve certain goals in life and get to the top of the cream of the crop working for Ellen DeGeneres, whatever the case may be. But you don't know what's going on with these people. He looked like a happy-ass dude.
Yeah.
Happy family. You know, 40 years old, young, and shot himself in the head. Like, what brings a dude to do that, right? I don't know. I don't know what the hell happened. To me, I think that maybe it could be the stressful life of being a celebrity and dealing with all that stuff. maybe something at home went bad, and you know what I'm saying, where maybe he cheated or something bad happened, or she cheated, whatever, and then he's just like, screw this. I don't know, but to me, in my mind, it stems from social media. Social media is just a cesspool full of depression and anxiety and FOMO, and it's sad, man. It really is sad. So if you're not a strong mental, like if you're not strong-minded, I feel bad for you. And that's one thing that I preach to everybody that I speak to is mental toughness. It's like you're in a gym. You know, sometimes I seen something on TikTok and it was like so true. It was like this older lady and somebody asked her a question like, what's the key to getting through life? She's like, you know, sometimes you just have to detach. And that was it. That was the seed right there, because we're so attached to all these small, minuscule things that really mean absolutely nothing to us or may affect us in a moment, may feel sad, may feel mad, but like long-term wise, it's not going to dictate where we're going. But once you build that mental toughness, you're able to detach from certain shit. Like I'm not going to get mad if somebody says this in front of my face, like, okay, cool. Yeah. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, dude, suicide rates are high. My fellas, speak to one of your homies, parents, therapists, whatever the case is. It is, because it's never worth it to take your life just because something is going on in your life. Like everything passes, and yeah, man, I just feel bad. It's a touchy subject, only because like there's been suicide in my lineage of people I never met, and sounds so irrelevant, but when I was in Atlanta for this conference, I was on the 49th floor at the Westin. I don't know if you guys have ever been, but
definitely not.
Yo, like, I kid you not. I thought I was going to be like, the dude, when I was checking in, he was like, what floor you want to be on, the lower end or higher? And I'm like, I don't know, put me in a higher one. I didn't know how big this building was, right? So there was like 70-something floors, but I was on like the 49th floor. You step into the window, you could literally stand on the windowsill because the framing is at the bottom. Put my chest to it, and I'm looking all the way straight down. And I'm like, I felt like I was in the clouds. I'm like, how do people make that decision when, you know, they're suicidal and they jump and be like, let me just...
Crazy.
It has to, and I guarantee like 99% of them, once they actually take the leap, they're like, shit, I shouldn't have done this. But it should never just come to that point, right? But there just has to be more training, more talks about it. And I think one of my goals in my life is just to try to educate as many men as I can on it. I go through my own shit as well. They always say the people who are kind of like more knowledgeable about this or more into it is because they've dealt with some dark things. I dealt with a lot of dark shit. That's why I'm able to speak from a side of passion that, that drives me, but I've had years of being able to discipline myself in areas that I know could ruin my life forever. Down from my dad raising me as like a strong-minded person. Like his famous line to me always as a kid, you let one grain of salt, like a little grain of salt, shit is small as hell. You let that little grain of salt of negativity into your heart, into your mind, it's gonna fester, it's gonna grow, and it's gonna take you out. So it's just being able to differentiate, kind of pick and choose what is important, what's not. Like, again, somebody says some shit to you, who cares? Do what you want to do, listen to yourself. But there's just so many weak-minded people out there that they get so consumed by the situation, and they're just like, fuck it, and it sucks. It should never be that way.
That's what you have to do, I feel like. But at the same time, you got all these people like bring bullying back. You know what I'm saying? And
Toxic world.
But that comes to the point of like kids saying they're cats and saying their name is Fifi. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then the teachers have to put out water bowls in the hallways and like this weird new shit. No offense if your kid is a cat.
Okay, but wait, did you just say they put water bowls out?
They do, yes. I
never heard that.
I have nephews and nieces. They put water bowls in the hallways for these kids that wear tails to school.
No, they don't.
Yeah, and the teachers have to literally address them as a cat.
And so who made this up? The school or the kids?
No, like these kids nowadays are furries, and they have to, they
Oh my
say
God.
they're a cat, they say they're a lion, what is it called? They don't.
Identify.
They're
as-
not a. Yeah, they identify as.
It's like the
identify as
gender.
It's
Listen,
the
my-
whole gender thing. Yeah, it's
you-
like that, but with animals now, and it's.
do you guys
like-
have kids?
No.
So
God.
we already discussed this. Our kid is being homeschooled because we are not letting them into any sort of system that is going to allow. Here's the thing. Kind of like when we were younger and our parents would be like, "You're still a kid. Sit your ass down. You don't know what you're talking about." They're right. We're dumb as shit. We don't know nothing about nothing. So these kids that are 6 years old and trying to, say that, not even say, choose that they're going to be something else, and I'm not going to say what exactly, but they just want to be something else entirely. Son, sit the fuck down. You don't know what you're talking about. You're oblivious to the world.
You can't
you
even
don't
say
you
that
don't
right now,
understand, right? You don't understand what you're even saying right now. But kids obviously super influential, super influenced, but yeah, we already talked about we don't want our kid in schools until
I don't
he's
blame you at all.
until he's in high school, and then he 18 he can make his own decisions, but like this system will literally screw all of our kids. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm scared as shit. When I had my son, I was so happy and blessed, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, sorry, son.
It's so
Because the
scary.
society is just fucked.
It is. That I give you so much props for that because you're gonna see that a lot more now too.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm kind of saying. Like, do we need more bullying or do we need less?
So,
You know what
I
I'm
don't
saying?
think you need bullying.
I think we
you
need. I think we
don't
need less negativity.
I don't think you need bullying. I think you
general?
need to cut bullshit. Like he just said. Like you can't like.
But, like,
if a
kids
kid
aren't
is
allowed
over
to
there
bully
saying,
anymore
no,
in
but
school.
no, it has nothing. Don't
At
do it.
all, like-
the bullying never did anything anyway. It never made anyone stop what they like doing. But like basically, what I
mean,
say,
kids were never cats in the hallway.
yeah, but it had nothing to do with bullying. That's just it being acceptable now.
Yeah.
If I were to say I was a fucking cat in 5th grade, my teacher would be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" But half the teachers are on it now.
Yeah.
like half the teachers are doing that. If I was a teacher, I would be
scared
fired
of
so
hurting
quick.
feelings.
And it
That's what I'm
does suck
saying.
because-
Yeah, I understand that, but bullying. When I think of bullying, it's one-on-one, and you're gonna brutalize a kid.
Okay, not that. I'm saying, like, do we really need to be so
like less
touchy,
less
walking on
aggressive
eggshells
or
about
less-
feelings, or do we need to
Yeah,
be
no,
real?
I think that there needs to definitely be some hard ass discipline instilled and like some real life shit taught. Like these are kids, they're sponges. They will listen to you. But you got to catch them before they already get into their own world that they don't know how to listen to you. I grew up, my father, God bless him again, professional kickboxer, big ass scary dude. Seen him knock people out in front of me like grown ass men. And so that's why he never had to hit me because I was already scared. But had it not been for him being like in an aggressor in a way, like when he spoke to me, it wasn't disrespectful, but it was like on some real life shit. Like this may seem a little out of pocket, but I remember I was about 15. We're going to the gym. I'm working out with Pops. I played football at the time, but I'm tired, so I'm not really putting my full efforts in. And we're driving back home, and he's like, "Yo, Chino, what the fuck? Why weren't you?" He's like, "What if a bomb just went off right there? Fucking the strong will survive, the weak will perish." Right? But I'm a kid. But I needed that because, like, he's fucking right. But that's life in every single avenue. You know what I mean? Like, so I guess the best thing that we could do is just, like, teach our kids to be leaders first and foremost. Give them knowledge and understanding to what's going on in life. If you're a family with morals and values and have God in your life, teach them the way of life in there because they're totally against that in the Bible. But yeah, it's even some of these teachers, unfortunately, maybe some of them might be for it, but some of them are like, I'm afraid to lose my job. So I got to just go with this kid acting like being a squirrel or some shit. Like, God forbid if I see a kid trying to be a squirrel, I'll be like, yo, sit your ass down, kid. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but it's scary. So no, I don't think that we should take pressure off of, being a type of way, like being aggressive, but like in a nice way though. Like I'm going to tell you how it is because I care about you and I love you and I care about your future. But because if we keep on getting more soft, then we're just opening up every single opportunity for them to do whatever
Get in
they
there more.
want. And I get it. People could do whatever they want, but when you think about us as a nation, and you want your great grandkids to still roam this earth and whatever, like, you know, everybody's losing themselves. The system is losing themselves. The government is losing control. And social media was a big reason why. And again, there's a lot of things that I agree with on, you know, different things that go on, I agree with. But when it comes to all that shit that is just like, you wake up and you're like, what did I just wake up to? What is this world coming to? I don't agree with, man. Like, I'm still super old school in that, and we just gotta change.
I think a lot of it has to come down, like, obviously, like you just said, like, human race has free will still, and like, if you're a certain age and you want to do whatever you want, that's fine. I think there's two ways of looking at it. First of all, don't bring kids into it. Like, that should if that's even allowed. And hearing the other things that, like, we just won't touch on, but like other things that go on in schools and are allowed, that's beyond me. But like, also, I think it comes down to the parents a lot. Like, obviously, but like, there's a lot of limp dick parents out there that are just fucking pushover. They're a pushover to their boss when they go to work in the morning. They get home, they get slapped around, whatever,
kids,
and they're just fucking pushovers. They have no fucking balls.
You definitely got to be a strong unit together, because if you're not, that's just gonna, your kids, again, like they always say, your kid is a reflection of what they see, and they're normally with you every single day, majority of the day, or at school learning from people that, you know, doing this shit. But like, if you got a weak unit at home, then your kid's gonna just grow up weak. And you know, as a parent, as a dad, I'm not letting that shit happen. I don't give a shit if my kid come home one day and he did go to school and be like, Dad, I'm a tiger. But yeah, you know what? Let me go take you to see a real tiger. Get in a cage with that tiger. See if he likes you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, facts, man. That's great. I gotta piss real quick. I'll be right back.
You're good.
I gotta take a piss too. You gotta.
We can pause it first.
We can pause it for a
All
second.
right, group piss. We're taking a.
We're taking a break.
There we go. Okay. All right. So.
And we're back.
Yeah. Right. The piss break.
Piss break
Was phenomenal.
Felt great.
I'm not sitting here like,
I thought I was the only one.
oh no.
I was like, since I'm new to this, I'm like, I don't know if we could just like randomly stop.
No, you can. You could.
We do it all.
I was hurting for a minute, but I was waiting for this question. So like, you said earlier when you were talking, you said you were doing all this stuff with like celebrities, which I can see on your Instagram and stuff like that. And now, like, primarily you're back in Buffalo. And like here, you have a son now. You've settled down in a sense, in a way, and you have that job with Matar and everything. And like, so you've switched lifestyles. Was that like a conscious decision? Like, I want to do this, or did something happen, or like you're just like, it's time to grow up? Did you get sick of because I'm assuming like hanging out with, doing stuff like that, being around people like that, and a lot of money in these cities, there's a lot of partying. I don't know if you're that guy, but there's just a lot of things that goes down. Is it too stressful? Yeah.
So I mean, I guess a fast, easy answer would be I had a kid, and that was that. But to kind of extend that answer, it was definitely a hard but easy decision. I've been super blessed to have experienced a lot in a short amount of time. I am not a partier. I like to have fun, but I'm not like, let's go get shit-faced and all this stuff. And again, majority of the times when I was in Miami working with these people, I was in work mode. I had my camera on me. I don't like drinking on the job because everybody's a potential client, right? So I always stay on my P's and Q's with that. A lot of tired nights. I was at a lot of strip clubs, things that I personally wouldn't do by myself, that I don't care about. So yes, in one end, it was a blessing in disguise that, you know, Marissa and I got pregnant, because it was like a wake-up call. Chino, you're 27 years old. What are you going to do with your life? And I had so many gifts and so many opportunities, but I just could never make a decision because I was still living for myself. And I think a lot of people, especially nowadays, battle with that. Like, you know, unless you have something else that you have to live for, you're going to live life in whatever way it comes at you. And that's what I was doing. And I was enjoying the fruits of my loins at the times. You know, I was getting flown out. I had gotten an opportunity to shoot Floyd's 50th birthday at Star Mansion. Like, incredible, right? Great for my career, everything that I was doing. But definitely I've been working in the entertainment industry since I was 22. I moved to LA to go to school out there, and I would always call myself like a master networker, because no matter where I go, state, country, whatever this shit is, I'd network to meet up with people that I never met before to do some work. And so in LA, I had a friend, you guys actually know Brandon Lua, who's been at the start of my journey with photography, and the one who helped me get into it. He had connected me to people in LA that I got to work with that were like Grammy nominated writers. And then I was in the bodybuilding scene at the time. So I got to mildly work with Bradley Martin because I worked out at his gym. And then I had a mutual friend who was in the game and was more into it and knew him. And I just seen myself time and time again being this young kid from Buffalo, like finding my ways into rooms of opportunity. And I'll sit there like, how the fuck did I do this? Mm-hmm. And it does take a certain type of person, I would say. And really, realistically, all that just means is a disciplined person or somebody who's curious enough to try to get into those rooms, because it's really not that hard. But the entertainment industry is not what anybody sees on social media. I've hung out with top of the cream of the crop people, mm-hmm. And I'm just like, this is your life behind your Instagram posts? Like, this is sad. I remember shooting with a girl in LA, had like 200,000 followers, and you know, back in that day, that was a lot, and that was like glorified. And we were shooting for like 8-9 hours, and the entire time she was just stuck on her phone, bought followers because I seen her scroll up on her shit. And I was like, yeah, I'm an analytical dude, so I'm watching for this stuff. And I'm like, is this what it's like? You know, I worked with a Bitcoin millionaire in LA. Not what it seemed like. Terrible time in my life, a learning lesson, right? So by the time I got into the gigs in Miami and working with celebrities and all that stuff, I was working with the company first off, so they threw after parties, big parties for athletes, Super Bowl after party, all this stuff. And I became their media manager, so my job was to hire other videographers in the area to come shoot the events, to get content, so on and so forth. Since I had my first lick in the industry in LA and kind of dealt with people already who were millionaires and stuff. Like, I was 22 driving a Lamborghini and McLaren sometimes with the people that I worked with. Super cool. But by the time I got into Miami, started working with those people, I already had a mindset that I was going into it. Like, I don't care how much money you got. Don't care what car you got. Don't care who you are. I'm a cool guy. I'm going to respect you for who you are, right? And that's kind of like how I always carried myself, and I'm grateful that I was wise enough and could make those conscious decisions during those times, because it is like Miami is such an easy way to like take multiple steps back. If you are a party person, you easily get lost in the scene. You will not survive in Miami. It is party city every single day. You could go out and do something. As a photographer, you could literally be in a club every single night with somebody, and just being around it, you know, you are who you hang around. Mm-hmm. And if you got FOMO, forget about it. It's a wrap. So when we got pregnant, it was truly a blessing. It was kind of like the time in my life where I needed to get pulled out of a situation that, even though I would like to feel like I was strong enough to pull myself out of, I couldn't. And you know, I would say that, and it sounds like a little corny, but I feel like my son saved my life, my future, because after we got pregnant, I had to make a lot of sacrifices in my lifestyle to be able to prepare to be a dad. I was living in Buffalo. My girlfriend at the time now, but during that time period, she had moved out to Clearwater, Florida, still living in Buffalo. Once I found out that we got pregnant, about a month later, I moved to Florida right away, packed my shit, drove my car all the way down there, took care of business. I got a job 2 weeks in. I was in a new part of town, so I didn't have clients and stuff like that. I was flying back and forth from Clearwater to Buffalo once a month or twice a month to work with like retainer clients that I have here. I was hustling and bustling. I don't know how the hell I was doing it. But it's, again, once you get in that position when you no longer could just like be a dude and like couch to couch it and like I could live off $1, you know what I mean? You have to step it up. But it helps. It helps you understand where exactly you want to go and how you got to get there. Because at that point, you know, when you look at yourself in the mirror, you know the bullshit that you're doing that's holding you back. So it's like an automatic, like, okay, I got to stop doing this. I got to stop doing that. I got to stop doing this. And the power of being able to sacrifice something that you enjoy but is really not bringing much value to your future, is just in the moment. That's what I would call working with celebrities and in those atmospheres. They were great moments. I was in VIP with Ja Rule after he performed at the biggest strip club in Miami, and I'm like, I'm next to Ja Rule, and what? That shit is crazy. Yeah. What is it gonna do for my life? Nothing. A great moment, a great Snapchat moment that I could look back on. That's about it. And that was a really good question that you asked, because I've talked to people about this so many times, and I get asked it because I've been there, and thankfully I was just always mindful of who I was, and again, always a leader in any setting that I was in, and respected people, and in return got respect. I was that photographer that was like wanted around, because I wasn't just your average Joe photographer where I'm just like click and people. The way that we're talking right now, believe it or not, I have conversations with these people and they're like, yo, you're cool as shit. Yeah. We want you around. Yo, we want to fly you out here. We want to fly you out there. And that's how I build my connections, because when you're in any industry, your connections is where get you places and helps you level up in any way. But definitely fun times. And I don't think that they are done forever, because I still have connections. But now I think the difference between then and now is I have complete control and power of where I want to be and who I want to work with.
And that's like the end goal, basically. Not the end goal, but like the main goal, to be like suitable and comfortable. Because it's not comfortable in that world unless you're really made for that. Yeah. Like that with the celebrities and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's different.
It really is.
And I wasn't, like, I always wanted to be an entertainer. Like, I used to sing when I was younger, and I always loved being in the spotlight and all that shit. But I found my passion behind the camera, because one is the best icebreaker in any room you get into. Yeah. Everybody wants a picture or a video. Mm-hmm. But then also I was able to use my voice, have conversations, and build these relationships with people. And ultimately, what it brought me to, and the irony of it, and sometimes when you feel like you sacrificing something that you enjoy and love, and for some people it may feel like the end of the world, like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore, blah, blah, blah. But my W-2 job that I'm working now with William Attar, I got hired as a videographer. So now it's like I went from being, a freelancer who,
everything,
like,
right?
Everybody who's a freelancer, you have really, and mind you, I've been doing it for 6 years. So I finally got to a point about 3 years ago where I started making some money. So I was like, okay, I'm able to do this. I have a light overhead, so I could travel, I could do all this shit. And I have great months and I have terrible months, right? That's just how it is. But I persevered, stayed doing what I was doing. And I got blessed. And once that time and the pregnancy came around and moving back to Buffalo, literally, it was just perfect time. I was actually going to become a sheriff. Okay. I was going to start in February. Okay. But it wasn't, I took the test years ago, got reached out to, and as I'm driving back to Buffalo, it's like, hey, come take your physical assessment. And I'm like, okay, cool. This could be something, decent pay, like, I guess a good job in Buffalo, everybody says, right? And they're like, yeah, you got to be behind, be in a jail cell for 16 hours a day. The dude straight up like, yeah, when you have your son, you just better be straight up with your girl and tell her that you can never like wake up in the middle of the night to feed him and do all this shit. That's more meaningful to me than $1. You know what I mean? So once I got the opportunity, man, to be honest with you, I just prayed to God and asked him if this is what he wanted me to do in that time of my life, then I would do it. I'll do what I have to do as a man to provide for my family and to, just answer what is needed. And it's so crazy, man. I kid you not, like 3.5 weeks later, before they were going to start like the actual training, I'm on Instagram Live, just driving, talking my shit about relationships and just answering questions. And somebody that I knew replied on the story or on the live, like, hey, do you want a video gig? And I thought it was just like a one-off gig, like, Then I spoke with her outside of it. She's like, hey, no, yeah, we need a videographer at William Attar full time, paying more than what I was going to get paid as a sheriff.
Well, that's awesome.
And I was like, wow. Yeah. Shit, just like sometimes you let go of something that is so hard for you to let go, and it feels like your life is going to end. But sometimes we just actually have to let go of that in order to receive more. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it was just a great, like, I don't want to say end to a story, but like great timing of everything that, and definitely a valuable lesson in life that where you are at the moment, if you do allow life and God to take action and you ask for the right things, they will come, but you got to be open to receive it, because there's a lot of people who block their blessings. They just want to continue to live a life that they've always lived and they got nothing out of it, and maybe they have an opportunity here and there, but they're so prideful and just so stuck in what it is. But again, sometimes you got to let go, and having a kid and making all these choices and all these life-changing decisions and things coming my way, I was just grateful enough to be able to put my pride aside and not, again, think for myself, because that was the main thing, being young. Okay? Like, if I didn't have a kid, then, yeah, I could be a little bit more selfish with my thinking. I was going to move to Miami prior to us figuring out we were pregnant. And then she was like, hey, I'm pregnant. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm just going to go down there. It happens. But that's just how I was raised. And as a dude, right, that's how we're raised. You got to roll with the punches. My dad would say, you're a dude. You're swinging between your legs. You got to pick your shit up. You got to keep it moving and figure things out in life. But it definitely comes with having a good head on your shoulders, being wise. And as you get older, making decisions that can affect, even if you guys don't have kids right now, but it's like, say tomorrow something comes in your life, like, you have to be wise enough to know that whatever decision that you make in that moment could affect your future kids to come, grandkids, whatever the case may be. Because there's a lot of people, they say, like, God will bless you, but so will the devil, right?
Yeah.
God will bless you in ways, but the devil will always bless you, or also bless you in ways. Like, I'm not shooting at any just one rapper, but like a big culture in the rap game is like, I praise God and God did this. But you know the track record, they're still doing some things that may be against God's will. Again, that's not God blessing you. That's the devil blessing you, because he sees that you actually got some sort of popularity from doing the wrong shit, and you're over here feeding the younger generation, making them feel like that's accepted. The devil will bless you, God will bless you, but that's where you gotta have that talk with yourself and God to make sure that you're making the right decision. I'm sorry I keep on bringing up religion, but it's just something that I stand strong by and has helped me.
Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, no, you're good.
I actually wanted to get into that before the cameras cut off here. Like, we were just talking about furries and shit, right? Yeah. And I was literally about to say something, and like, Dan cut me off. And
Damn, Dan.
I was going to take a piss, and I'm like, honestly, thank God I didn't say that, dude. Thank God I didn't say that, because it might come up like later on. You never know. But I just wanted to talk about religion a little bit. This guy is not huge. Huge on religion.
Yeah, and that's totally fine.
And I agree. I'm a big believer in God myself. Pray every day, all that stuff. But I just wanted to touch on religion a little bit, and you kind of did. Yeah. But I wanted to get into that a little bit at the end of the podcast here for the people still listening. Yeah, absolutely. Here's the thing. I did grow up in a church family, but there was. I gave my life to God when I was 19 years old. But even though I would go to church since I was younger, I didn't really know. I wasn't that smart or mature enough to understand what I was. So I'm kind of the same way. Sorry to cut you off. Yeah, no, you're I'm kind of the same way, but I feel like it takes a situation for you to really, like, dive into it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I feel like you have to be at, like, some sort of fucking rock bottom in your life. Mm-hmm. To, like, really find God. Yeah, I always use this as an example because it's been told to me, and I'm sure a lot of people have heard this. It's like, again, I don't judge anybody on what they believe, right? Because at the end of the day, Christianity, God, it's a belief system, right? I can't sit here and say that I seen Jesus on the cross. I wasn't here when fire rained down. I can't tell you. I wasn't there, and there's no YouTube to prove that, right? So the only thing that I could stand strong on is me just believing enough that it was real for me to feel like there is something or someone greater than myself. I've had atheist friends in high school. To me, it's like, I'm not going to judge you as a person. If I like you, I like you. That's how I roll. I'm a perspective-based person, so I like hearing from people who don't believe or why they don't, or, because sometimes these things, let's face it, majority of the times, it's kind of like if you're a Bills fan, you grew up in Buffalo. It was a generational thing passed down to you because your mom and dad was a Bills fan, right? Some kids along the way, they grow up in church, but then they have their own conscience, and then they figure out their own beliefs when it comes to God, and that's totally fine. But when I gave my life to God, I'll tell you what, I never felt the Holy Spirit. I come from a Christian background, so our churches are like,
there'll be music, Holy Spirit. You see people running around, falling, all this stuff. And I used to think it was absurd, crazy, funny, right, as a kid. But once I finally gave my life to God, it was like all the stresses of the world off my shoulders, because, again, we are living in a society nowadays where we're living for ourselves when we should be living for God, right? And I'm not sitting here saying that I am the perfect guy. As a Christian, we sin the most. That's why we're Christian, and that's why we're in church, because we are sinners. But I had a situation. I was dating this girl, and again, I was very young in relationships and didn't know how to put myself first in any situation. And she was a different religion. She was Native American, so two completely different belief systems and whatnot. I didn't care about that. I liked her for her. But it did get to a point where my relationship with God was severed. My fault, because I let that happen. But again, young, figuring this shit out. I moved to California. I took a sociology class. Never knew what that was about. And that pretty much was like, let's play devil's advocate on everything we talk about. So if I say God is real, the teacher's like, no, he's not. Prove it. Is there a YouTube video of him? This is why I said that. Like, you can't prove that at all. Yo, that shit mind fucked me. I didn't know what was real, what was fake. And then what I started to do for years, my relationship was lost for God. I'm talking about like 4 or 5 years. It got to a point where I went from praying every single night or religiously without even thinking about it to not praying at all, and then question myself why I wasn't praying, and, you know, questioning certain things and in life and referring it back to him. One thing that my brother brought to my attention was that the fact that I was questioning him means that, to me, again, in my belief system, is that he's real. Because had I not believed in him, why would I even question him? You know what I mean? And fast forward, I'm 28 now. Shout out to my girlfriend, because she definitely was the reason why my relationship was able to come again with God. Her family owns a church. I'm actually like 5 minutes away from here on Kensington, right by Sisters Hospital. And again, it's at the end of the day, I think all I do as a Christian who's still learning it, right? I'm not solely by the book where I could pinpoint a chapter, verse, and spit it and all that stuff. But it just comes down to like truly what you believe in your heart, you know. And I would say majority of the people I meet that are like have faith in God, they're kind of more like, they have a different like sauce about them when it comes to life and positivity and things and whatever. And, you know, I just got to a point in my life where it's like every time shit went bad, even when I didn't have my faith in God, it was the first thing I was doing right when something went wrong. Please God, please God. First thing that I would do, and it was just like, wait, I'm sitting here saying please God, but I haven't prayed or paid any attention to him in the last 5 years. That's who I know. That's what I know. And is just a relationship. Like the Holy Spirit, the way that it is described is like it's just a best friend. And it, again, to some people it sounds weird and they're like, dude, you're on some stuff. But it's like the Holy Spirit could be right here. You know what I mean? He could be here actually being the driving force behind the words that I'm spilling right now to plant a seed in anybody or everybody who's listening. Again, I don't get upset or feel any type of way about people's differences, because all I can think of is, one, it's no competition in who believes what, why, and who can prove the most facts or whatever the case is. It's just what I believe in. As long as I go to bed at night feeling good about myself and what I believe in, then that's all God wants from me. You know, whatever somebody else believes in, then so be it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's respectable.
Yeah,
That's how I am too.
Yeah, really. I judge first and foremost. I judge people by their character and who they are. Again, you know what I mean? If you're cool with me, then you're cool with me. I don't believe that if you're an atheist and I hang out with you because you're my best friend and then you suddenly become an atheist that I have to stop hanging out with you. No, that's just a belief system that you have. But as long as you don't come raining on my parade and trying to make me feel like, you know, you believe what you believe, I believe what I believe. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, from my side of the spectrum, I guess all I can do is hope that somewhere along the lines, whether if it's 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, is that, you know, anything I may have said or any sort of value with God in it coming into your life that I preach to you, whatever, it's a seed planted so that one day it could just grow and be like, you know what? Because there's so many people in this lifetime that are so confused about religion and many other things, right? Where they get to a point where it's just like, I never thought about it that way. You know what? I tried everything else in life. I tried not believing in him. I tried doing the wrong things when my parents asked me to do the right things. I tried this part of life. But the one thing that I always walk away from, run away from, and never tried is God. All my other options of doing things in life for myself, again, living for myself, it didn't work. The moment, in each moment that I turned my life to God, that I turned it to him and gave him that like acceptance and understanding that I acknowledge that you are a part of what I'm doing. It's not just for me. I want to do things through you. Still be myself, but I want to do things through you. Again, it could just be a placebo to make you feel better, whatever. But to me, it's what drives me. It's what keeps me morally grounded. You know what I mean? But I love having conversations about it because I'm not a political dude. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, we're dudes here. So to me, like I always say, especially with the content that I post, it's like I'm an open source, non-judgment zone. Say what you got to say, because again, within the conversation, we could end up digging out something that could help one of us in our personal journey with God or without him. You know what I mean? But I'm glad that you brought that up, man.
For sure. Yeah. I feel like we could talk for another 2 hours, but
yeah, another podcast in the future. Stay tuned.
Definitely. No, we appreciate you coming on, bro, and you definitely dropped some fucking gems on us.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I appreciate you guys. I know we try to do this other time, but a lot going on. But I'm glad that I was able to make it on today. I love what you guys are doing here. Just want y'all to know, y'all need anything at all, you let me know. Yeah.
Same to you, bro.
Thanks.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Comment, subscribe. Chino's Instagram will be down in
below
the description. Go give him a follow, especially if you're going through some relationship stuff, man.
I got you.
He's your boy. He's your man.
Dang. All right. I appreciate you guys. Much love.
Peace.